Hey you guys, and welcome back. Now, there have been a lot of interesting things to take place since I last spoke with you. But the thing that made me want to do this video today is the story about the flooding in the Midwest. Nebraska and some other areas have flooded, and it has caused some issues with the food supply and some other things. Now, I'm going to try to see if I can upload a map. And I think this is what the projected flooding is supposed to look like. And when I first saw this map, I immediately thought about the video that I did talking about a dream that I had. I think the name of the video, and I don't know if it's on private or if it's still public. I'm going to try to see if I can find that one, and if it's on private, I'm going to try to see if I can make it public and include it down in the description box. But I think the video was titled something like "There Were Bodies in the Bins" or something like that. And in the dream, I was basically saying that in the dream, I saw a big, huge, large map of the United States. And on each side, like the east side and the west side, there was a bin sitting in the water, I guess like in the ocean. And the one that was on the east side was filled to the top with bodies. And one on the west only had like maybe a couple of bodies in the bin, and then it had a couple of bodies kind of sprawled out on the land on the west side. And so when I saw this map, it reminded me of that dream, because I came back later on and I said what I think that dream was trying to tell me was that much of the destruction and damage and death on the east side was going to come as a result of water, and the destruction and damage and death that's going to be on the west side is going to come as a result of things that's happening on the land. That's what I was thinking the dream was showing me. And so when I saw this map about the flooding, and then I heard about how much chaos is going to cause with the food supply, it immediately made me think of that dream. Now, another dream that I had, and I don't know if I shared this one with you all, and if I did, I don't think I titled it anything that would make me think of that dream, so it might have been included in another video or something like that. But there was another one that I had where I was again shown a map, a large map of the United States. And on that map was tanks, and they were all like lined up, and all of them had the gun part facing the west. But what made me think about this map is that the line of the rivers where the tank started, like right along the side of like Tennessee and Mississippi, like I think it covered a little bit of the west part of Tennessee, but other than that, along that line is where the tanks were lined up, and all of the guns were facing the west, and there was a guy standing in front of them talking, right? And it sounded like he was going over plans for, destruction or some sort of attack or something like that. And so he was talking to them and pointing things out, and he was pointing up towards like the Washington, like Seattle, like Canada area, like on that side of the US, like up towards that way he was pointing. And he said a couple other things, I guess, to point out to them, and then he said, and that equals total destruction, right? And so the only thing that really made me think about that dream was where I saw like the rivers like outlining the way it flowed like down along those states. It reminded me of the separation of where the tank started, and then they were lined up almost all the way over to the west, and they were pointing in the west. Now, I can't remember if I shared that one with y'all or if I just intended to share it and I didn't get around to it. But if I can find that video where I shared that one, I'll put that one down in the description box as well. Also, I'm going to put down in the description box, I think it was last year, the beginning of last year, where I started having some dreams and some experiences that kind of led me to the spring, Easter, Passover time of year. Also, some experiences happened that led me to the book of Esther and some of the things that happened with Haman, with where he tried to have the children of Israel destroyed. And I remember because I did a video titled Haman, and I think in that one I was just showing you some articles or something like that I had found, because there was a lot of events happening with black people during that time. You know, I think that was when they were talking about the Confederate statues and things like that, and things were really heating up. And so that's what I wanted to just kind of share with you all, just to kind of keep that in mind. Not saying that anything is going to happen. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm not pointing to any particular thing happening at any point in time, but anyone who's been watching the news, you know that stuff is happening constantly, even if we don't necessarily know all the ins and outs. You know, we may find out at the tail end that something has happened, but something is always happening. You know, we have events that are coming up. They're having elections in Israel in sometime in April, and you know, you have people talking about there's going to be a peace deal that's going to come out, and a temple that's going to be built. So, not saying that anything in particular is going to happen during this particular time, but as always, you always want to be mindful. You always want to stay alert. You always want to stay prayerful. You know, as you're going about your day, you know, praying over your family and your friends and your loved ones. And I kind of think that we're getting close to something really big happening, because, you know, when I think about dreams that I've had that have been significant, I always think of them as like breadcrumbs. It's like showing me a snapshot of things that's going on to let me know that it's showing me a particular point in time. You know, like I've talked about dreams that I've had when I was younger, and then I don't find out what they mean until years later, until I'm an adult. And so I can look back at that dream and see that it was showing me a particular time that I wasn't yet quite aware of. For instance, there was what was it? It was that one wasn't a dream. I was going somewhere, and I just happened to look over, and I saw like a cloud, like long, like up and down in the shape of a sword. And I showed an example of that, and it happened to be a product that I think is created in India, and created and sold in India. And it was a sword. And so I was thinking that, you know, it meant, or it was signaling, you know, war. And it just so happened that, you know, India and Pakistan are in this dust up, and they keep, you know, motioning at each other like they want to do something, which I don't know why. You know, I have no idea why they're in disagreement with each other. But I do know that that's one of those situations where people keep saying it could happen, it could happen. It may be one of those rumors of war situations that the Bible talks of. And so before I go, I want to share with you a new dream that I just had. And this one, I had this dream, let's see, this past Monday was April 1st. So it was Monday before last when I had this dream. It was either Monday night or early Tuesday morning, because it was still dark, and I had just waken up from the dream, and I don't think I looked at my clock. So it was either Monday night or early Tuesday morning before the sun came up when I had this dream. And so in this dream, I was in a back bedroom, okay, and I was looking out the window. And the thing that I remember about this is that, you know how I had been saying that a lot of these dreams that I've been having about things happening, and, you know, how the days are usually really pretty outside and the sun is shining, or the sun's just getting ready to set and it's that orangey peachy color everywhere and it's really nice. Well, this one was actually dark. It wasn't like dark like night. It was a weird kind of dark. That's the only way I can describe it. It was really like weird, okay, because it was dark, but it was still light to where, like, you could see, like, if someone was walking around out in that darkness, you could see them. You maybe couldn't see certain colors because it's so dark out, but it wasn't regular like sunset dark, like, if that makes any sense. It was just a weird dark. Like, if I had to describe it, you know, those of you who remember the eclipse of 2017. Now, I did not go outside and watch that eclipse, okay? I did not go outside. I actually took a nap. Okay, I was like, I'm not going out there. I don't know what's getting ready to happen. I'm not going out there. I just stay in the bed. Okay. And I remember because it was cold. Like, I'm not someone who's cold natured, but I remember it being very cold. Even being bundled up and wrapped up in the covers. But I do remember being able to tell when the eclipse started by the way the room looked. Okay. And so I got up and I looked out the window. And if I had to describe what I saw, like in this dream, it looked like that, but maybe a little bit darker. All right. It was that weird, it's supposed to be day, but it's dark kind of look. It just had a weird feeling to it. Okay. And so by the time I looked out my window, I saw planes overhead and they were flying in formation. Right. And in my spirit, I understood them to be warplanes. And so as they flew overhead, I'm rushing to try to get to the front part of the house to try to watch them as they fly by to see which way they're going, right? See where they are. And like if I'm standing in front of the house and I'm facing straight out, I understand that that's east. I believe it's east, right? So like if I'm standing and I'm facing east, they didn't go straight ahead. They kind of flew a little bit to the left, but still in the direction of east. And I wish there was some way to where I could look up my house and do a trajectory and see where around about that area, where that would be. But they didn't go straight ahead. They went to the east, but it was towards the left. It wasn't like straight ahead. And I remember going back to the back of the house, and I think I was going back to the back of the house to see if any more was coming. And I don't know what this means, but as I walk back to the back of the house, I see a family member sitting in the room, just oblivious, eating a banana. Now, I don't know. I kind of think I know what that means, but I mean, it was just so, all of that was going on, the strange darkness and the warplanes flying overhead, and they sitting up in the room eating a banana. Like, really? So, yeah, that was that particular dream. I wanted to share that with you all. And I just thank the Most High so much that He continues to bless His children by showing us, the signs and the seasons and the things that are taking place and the things that are going on, and showing us, what we need to be, paying attention to, and helping us to come together in different ways, and to encourage each other, and to pray for one another, and to pray over one another. So I just thank Him for His goodness, because there are a lot of people out there who either aren't paying attention or they're just making stuff up. It just ain't no other way to say it. It's just people who are out here just making stuff up. And that's unfortunate, because that shows that you really don't have any fear or reverence of the Most High and His word, for you to try to twist it and turn it and to make it about you, or people who you like, or people who you love, or people who you care about, or people who you think are worthy, right? So that's unfortunate. But I just thank the Most High that He continues to bless us, that He continues to, wake us up and show us things and help us to grow and help us to help each other. So I'm just grateful to Him for that. And I'm just so grateful to Him for the Holy Spirit and for our Messiah, who came and laid His life down for us and died for us, even though we didn't deserve it. But He came down here and laid His life down. And when you read about how they treated Him, His own people, how they treated Him, and that's kind of a mirror to today, because a lot of us treat our own people worse than anybody else. But I'm just so grateful that He loved us enough to come down here and endure all that and lay His life down for us, even though we don't deserve it, right? Let's just keep it real. All right, you guys, I'm going to end this here. You guys have a great day, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks.